New research has found that every single bite we take of ultra-processed foods raises the risk of an early death. Do we have your attention?
Right. So this study looked at close to 250,000 people. So it was a pretty large study, and it found an estimated 70% of foods in your typical grocery store are considered ultra processed. Our 9 News medical expert, Dr. Payal Kohli, joins us now to talk about these new findings. Thanks for coming in.
Good morning. Shocking.
Very,
right? Yeah.
very. So what is considered ultra processed?
So an ultra processed food is actually a man-made food. It's created in a lab or a factory, and it usually has a lot of ingredients that you wouldn't normally cook with in your kitchen, artificial preservatives, emulsifiers. And the goal of this is we had made this sort of food to be cheap, to be convenient, to be shelf stable, and to be tasty. And what we're seeing is that the average American diet has about 55 to 60% of our food is ultra processed. And for our kids, it's actually 2/3 of what they eat is ultra processed. Yes. So an example would be like a breakfast cereal, a frozen pizza. Even some of our drinks are actually very ultra processed.
I think what's interesting though is, obviously when something's kind of already put together, you think, oh yeah, okay, of course that's ultra processed. Even slices of bread that you buy at the grocery store. Give us examples of what is ultra processed.
So the way that I tell usually when I go to the grocery store is I flip it over and I look at the ingredient list.
Okay.
And if it has usually 10 or more ingredients, it's ultra processed. If it has ingredients that you wouldn't normally cook with in your kitchen, like high fructose corn syrup, red dye number 3, yellow dye number 2, whatever, that's obviously ultra processed. And if it's instant, like you can pop it in the microwave, TV dinner, those instant ramen noodles, these are all considered ultra processed as well. So I like to ask myself, is this something that would be found in nature? So for example, if you buy a bag of spinach, spinach is found in nature, right? It's a little processed because of the packaging, right? So it's been put in the packaging. But if you buy a box of macaroni and cheese, that is an example of an ultra processed food because not just what's in it, but even the packaging, the way that it's put together is part of the processing.
Wow.
Part of the study, they talked about how these are not things that the body will, become immune to or whatever, where it figures out what all these synthetic things and dyes are. It doesn't adapt exactly. So what should people know now when they're going to the grocery store? And we said 70%. That is a really crazy statistic. What should people know?
I mean, every 10% you increase your calories from ultra-processed food, you increase your risk of dying early by 3%.
Wow.
So to me, that's really scary because we're getting more and more of these ultra-processed foods. So people should know a few things. One, you want to shop the periphery of the store. So that means outside, not inside, because in the middle they have the shelves where they don't need refrigeration, they don't need freezing, they don't need any of that kind of stuff. So you want the meats, the dairies, the cheeses. Even, in fact, the meats that are packaged are considered processed. Your canned vegetables are processed. They're not ultra processed, but they are processed. So the more kind of whole foods you can get, the better. You want to really try to cook at home. You want to avoid trying to buy those convenient, easy to cook things. As convenient as they are, they're actually making things worse. So for example, if you make a cookie at home, that's a lot better than buying a cookie that's in a package like an Oreo cookie because that's obviously ultra processed.
Just real fast, we were talking with you before in the commercial break, and I think another good point to make is, we were talking about the difference, let's say pizza, for example. You buy that frozen pizza at the store, ultra processed. Chances are you go to a mom and pop shop, they are making it with those whole foods, so it's not in that case. We're not saying if you don't cook at home, you're eating ultra processed, because there are restaurants that make this right.
Absolutely, and the more you can kind of go farm to table.
That's what made me think of pizza.
That pizza does look processed.
That was ultra processed for sure.
And that Coke certainly is ultra processed, right? So the more that you can really put whole ingredients in, not emulsifiers, not preservatives, not colorants, none of those types of things, the better the food is for you. And we don't know yet if it's the ultra processing of the food or if it's the fact that it's high in fat, high in calories, high in sugar, which makes it addictive as well. So all of these things put together will increase our risk of death. We don't know if the process of preserving it is what's making it worse.
You're so right, though, about just turn it over, look at the label, and if the list is this long,
or if there's a word on it
that you don't recognize,
put it back.
Right.
Chances are it's just really bad for
Dr. Kohli, you're awesome. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. By the way, you can find all of her appearances at 9news.com/Dr. Kohli.